Immigration is connected to everything. This has been our calling card at Breitbart News for well over a decade, that we identified this problem. It is not that we're necessarily anti-immigrant or that we're certainly racist or anything ridiculous like that. It's that if you believe that America makes a difference, we need to deal with these things, birthright, citizenship being among them. And a lot of our elite do not understand this. I played those clips of my interview from over the weekend with Dr. Gorka, and I'll tell you, the thing is being completely suppressed online, particularly by YouTube. This thing came out and it was tonning it in views. It was on pace to be one of the biggest view count posts ever on my channel on YouTube. And then I woke up on Sunday morning and I checked it out, and they'd wiped out over 75% of the views. They just erased it. I don't know why. They don't give you an explanation. They just knock your view count down. They suppress it. Why? I don't have a big YouTube channel yet. I will one day. Not yet. We just started it. But overall, the point is that the elite understand that they want to undermine the American experiment, and they do this by trying to get as many people flooding into the country as possible who do not share American values. They want to benefit from America's largesse. Either it be the fraudsters who want to take advantage of the system, or people who are by and large honest and just want to make money, but they're not doing it because they believe America is such a great place with such a unique and wonderful set of values, which we are, with a unique and wonderful culture, which we have, that has led the world in arts and in sports and innovation and in tech and all of that stuff, and not to mention being the one singular military superpower on the planet at the moment. No, what we have is a opportunity for people to make money and to bust our chops. I'm not into it, and that really is the connective tissue. And yet our elite don't get it. They don't get it. Check out Hillary Clinton. I'll play cut 6 for you guys. This is unbelievable from over the weekend on CNN.
If the platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm.
If they don't moderate the content, she's calling on censorship from the social media platforms, X Everything app, Facebook. And then she says if they don't censor on behalf of the values that Hillary Clinton holds, the ultimate establishmentarian in all public life in America, then what happens is we lose control. Play it again so you hear the specific language. She says we. Yeah, go ahead.
Whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm.
I just saw a clip while I was in the break of Hakeem Jeffries again saying that unless you have immunity, we're coming after you once Donald Trump is out of office. I warned about this on Friday's show. I will continue to warn about this. Trump's going to have to pardon anyone who's openly MAGA, who's publicly MAGA, because this is what they're trying to do, is they want to put all of us in handcuffs. Debanking is not enough. Cancellation is not enough. They want us all in jail. That's why I wrote Breaking the Law, to understand this. This is Jennifer Welsh, who is the hottest, most popular left-wing podcaster right now, and Abilio James Acosta, formerly of CNN, more familiar to you as Jim Acosta. Let's play cut 7, please.
We are serious about this. We are prosecuting. We're going to uncover every document, every phone call, everything you did. We will be relentless about it. And that's the mindset they've got to have, because I think the electorate is going from, we've got to get him out, but also we want accountability.
There has to be accountability. We have to change this John Roberts Supreme Court decision that gave the president of the United States a blank check. No man or woman should be above the law in this country. And Donald Trump sure as should not be above the law in this country. If you guys are going to cling to this idea that Donald Trump is unaccountable, it's just not going to work. And that means adding seats to the Supreme Court so that that immunity decision can be overturned. And
mass prosecutions are going to be necessary for national reconciliation when the Dems regain power. They're already announcing it. You've been warned. They're coming for you. They're coming for your family members, coming for your friends. Why? Because we support Donald Trump. Because they viewed the act of being Donald Trump or being related to Donald Trump in and of itself an illegal act. I mentioned when I was talking to Peter that I think the biggest reveal of the book yet, and there are others, I'm going through it, I'll have completed it by the next time Peter and I speak, which will probably be Wednesday. But the Manchurian Generation ballot flood, more than 1 million Chinese with U.S. citizenships could vote in the 2030 election. Here is the breakdown of how this works. And it's a multi-step process, and it is not that many steps in order for us to get to the point where you're seeing our electoral system completely subverted by the CCP. Step one, Chinese mothers travel to the United States, birth tourism, they give birth, and the children are citizens via what? Birthright citizenship. So birthright citizenship, they come here on birth tourism, and they're every bit as American as Sean McConnell. Doesn't make any sense to you, but it does to the people who want to subvert our country. Number two, they return to China. And what happens when they're in China? They're raised by the CCP, because everything is CCP. It's a totalitarian state. Obviously, education is locked down. And they're taught to hate the U.S. and our values, our culture, our history, everything about us. That's what they're taught. They're taught to hate us. They're taught we're the enemy. They look up to us. And then they come back to the United States. Why? Because they're citizens, dual citizens. But because of their birthright citizenship, because of birth tourism, they come back to the United States and they vote. That's step three. They vote. How do you think they're going to vote? You think they're going to vote for Donald Trump? You think they're going to vote for Melania Trump? Is this something that I'm railing against immigration the same time I call for Melania to be president, even though she's foreign? Melania cannot be president, guys. That was tongue-in-cheek. Media Matters is no longer posting on X, so that's sad to me. But normally Media Matters, all the people who police the internet, sometimes we make subtle jokes on the show. I'm not actually calling for us to amend the Constitution so Melania can be president. We've got enough Trumps, Laura, Eric, Barron, Don Jr. We got enough Trumps who can be president. But she could serve on the Board of Peace. You know, Trump is a Board of Peace now. So he started Board of Peace. And I'll tell you that I am excited about this because he's going to try to make other countries buy their way onto the Board of Peace. He's doing a lot of very trolly stuff because remember, he did not get the Nobel Peace Prize despite bringing peace all over the world, at least 10 different places thus far. And now he's telling Norway that he wants Greenland specifically because peace is no longer a priority for him, or he doesn't have to think purely of peace, was his exact quote. And he says this stuff, and people who don't understand that you can't take him literally, they just light their hair completely on fire. Just like Trump's not thinking of peace. That means he's thinking of war. No, he understands actually the strategic importance of the Arctic. And he thinks that we are vulnerable from people coming over the poles, not to mention there's a lot of resources there. But strategically, we don't trust NATO to have our back. They're not going to do enough to help us. We're basically on our own. So we need to control as much as we can militarily to make sure that we are not vulnerable from China, Russia, etc. His latest fixation, according to NBC News, so you know it must be true, is Canada. The president has intensified his criticism of Canada in private conversations with aides, allegedly, in recent weeks over what he sees as the country's vulnerability to U.S. adversaries in the Arctic. This is what we're talking about with peace through strength. You can't be a weak nation. You can't be fixated on non-threats like Donald Trump. That's what happens. That's what happens with the left. They call out threats that don't really pose a threat because it's very safe. I think this is part of the essence of why the climate change movement was so important for so long to people on the left, is because it's so non-threatening. There's no pushback really that's done. People like me will make fun of them. But other than that, there's no one who's going to come at you because you attack them. No, they come after people like they call Trump authoritarian and a fascist and we're in a dictatorship, even though we have democratic elections. He's willing to take losses in those elections, and he's certainly willing for people to demonstrate and speak out against him. So, but anyway, he's concerned that Canada is not doing enough to preserve the northern parts of the country. So Canada, by volume, by landmass, is the second biggest country on the planet after Russia.